Started as the ranch pit shop. Stadium truck came about as an offshoot of monster trucks. The first stadium truck we produced was the JRXT. Started early 80s selling Tamiya cars and evolved into aftermarket parts for all the Japanese cars. Then ended up helping Associated develop the RC10. Everything exploded, the industry grew really fast, and then in the late 80s we came out with our own car, the JRX2. Stadium truck came about as an offshoot of monster trucks. We were importing Tokyo Marui kind of as a little monster truck for Christmas. Really, it's a Christmas toy that the guys all fell in love with and started trying to race them. Along come a bunch of aftermarket parts to make them usable, and probably within 6 months, guys were converting RC10s and JRX2s into these little monster trucks. And shortly thereafter, we just went ahead and did a whole complete kit, which came out JRXT. Stadium trucks were, for us, always monster trucks. They evolved off a Tokyo Marui Big Bear, which was a little tiny monster truck that we brought in for Christmas toys that evolved into a racing class very quickly. And then we all converted our race cars into monster trucks, and it evolved into both Losi and Associated coming out with proper little monster trucks. The first stadium truck we produced was the JRXT, 1989. Well, the original JRXT and 2 both had 5-link suspension, which really evolved for the soft, rough sand tracks we raced on in the 80s. Well, again, anything that was soft that would turn into a washboard, the trailing arm cars had quite an advantage. Well, we had been trying to find an alternative to graphite laminate chassis for cost and availability, and we had been researching molding a composite tub chassis for race cars, which you'd seen them on the cheaper Japanese cars, but they were always too flexible, too heat sensitive. The cars wouldn't stay flat. So it took us a long time to find a material that we thought would be worthy. And our first attempt at a molded tub was to do it in the Junior T and the Junior 2. God, I think it was close to almost 50% cheaper. It took the risk out of trying something different. In 1991, we released the Junior T. This was for an entry-level RC guy. You know, we didn't have RTRs yet, so at this point, we all considered kit building part of the hobby. But it was an entry-level price point. It was very competitive with the cheaper Japanese cars coming into the market. Both cars turned out to be very popular. In 1992, we released the LXT. Well, the Junior T and the JRXT were both still basically the buggy platform with just wide offset monster truck wheels on it. And the LXT was the first time we purposely built suspension for a truck with proper offset wheels and really focused on optimizing the performance rather than just taking what we had and making it look cool. In 1994, we released the XX. Well, the design philosophy was trying to get a front end that was really good on rough tracks still. And that packaging, putting everything out in the wheel, centering up the kingpin, was again all about making a car go through high-speed washboard tracks. So after the XX, the XXX was next, and that was kind of a reversal of trying to optimize a car now for the smoother tracks with bigger jumps, and really focusing on how a car jumped, what I call emergency handling, so it would land the jumps and self-right a lot more than the XX did. So yeah, so the XX was a very rhythm-based car to drive. Very fast, flowing, but when you'd say 1, 2, 3, go from a dead stop, and in those days we didn't have warm-up laps, it was hard to get the first turn right. So when we went to the XXX, it was a lot of the development was about how to get the car to be really simple to drive, get to the first corner, know exactly what it's going to do, and be able to commit before you had a rhythm. A stadium truck no one expected came out in 2003, which was the Mini T. Well, the Mini T was just a fun opportunity product to explore a new Chinese vendor and try to make something that was just a really fun, novel car. My father was a good supporter of it. You know, once he understood where we were at, he really shepherded the project through corporate horizon and gave them the guarantees to make them comfortable. But you know, it was really more the fun guys here. You know, Richard and Jack and myself and those guys all kind of felt that this thing had a lot of play value in it. So, well, Richard Trujillo was always my style guy. You know, I trusted him and my father had the best sensibilities for how product looked, and Richard was more the model or scale guy in the company. So, you know, everything kind of got run past him how it looked. It's hard to remember exactly, but I remember he was really excited, and I think he was one of the strongest supporters of it right from the start. Well, it took a year for us to find out, but yeah, by the end of the first year, it was pretty obvious. We were all, you know, our highest expectations were met. Yeah, the industry just embraced it. We saw it go from what was going to be a toy for people to play with to guys running them on little carpet tracks to a national championships for them. I think the second year they were out, maybe even the first. It's hard to remember, but yeah, it didn't take long for it to have its own little racing category, which was kind of surprising. We didn't think that would happen that quick. I came back into Horizon this year to help do some consulting, and one of the really highlights was coming in to see they were re-releasing the Mini T. Well, here we are 16 years later, and that there's still an appetite for that kind of product. And since there's such an appetite for this product still, we're going to do something special. Stay tuned.